Hey guys, oh my goodness. What if I could told you that you could ditch your 9 to 5 and take control of your time and build a six-figure business teaching what you love? Sounds like a dream, right? Well, in today's guest, I'm so excited because I am going to share with you Elise Beckles, who left her corporate grind behind and turned her expertise into a thriving online education business. So, in this episode, we are so excited to share with you how she made the leap with strategies to grow her business into a six-figure and beyond, and what you can do to create your own success story. So, welcome to the show. We're going to bring her up. Elise, bring you up.
Hi, Stacia. Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So, yes. So tell us more about how you got started. How did you leave your corporate job to start your own online business?
Sure. So I had my business. My business was birthed, I like to say, in 2015. And at that time, I was still working corporate. And honestly, I wasn't focused on my tutoring business because I didn't see how it could ever be a full time anything. I have to be honest, I didn't grow up thinking I wanted to be an entrepreneur, be this business owner, but I did like the idea of additional income and I found joy in tutoring. So I created a model where it was agency style. So we were very local. It was local tutors on a team where, based on the needs that parents had, I would just have them go to whatever location, one to one, traditional, very limited, but it was passive enough where it wasn't stressing me out in a sense, right? It could happen with ease. And yeah, it wasn't until 2020 where I dreamed a new dream of how the business could become something that was full time. And yeah, the rest is history.
What made you take the leap? So you're comfortable, you have the extra side gig. Like made you decide, this could be what was the pivoting point that you was like, this could be
It's
something.
enough. Yeah. So
Yeah.
for me, it's important who you're around, right? So there were people in my life who would hear about me speak about French tutor once in a while, and I would always get that whisper, that question, like, "Why aren't you doing this?" And I would say, "Oh, like I don't see how I could." So it was those type of questions, and then being a part of community and getting certain mentorship that allowed me to design the business and develop a model that would allow it to scale as opposed to being so local, becoming completely virtual and expanding my reach. That was a big part of it, was just changing the model of the business.
Was it due to, I know a lot of things shifted for me during the C word, and
Yes.
that makes it like now the new normal
Yeah,
to me.
absolutely. And it was also a time, like with what I do, parents had to be on board with that even being a possibility because traditionally tutoring is, the only concept they have of it is in person, one to one, you and that tutor to get better at your academics. So it was also changing the perception of parents that virtual could still be as effective or even more effective.
Mhm. Awesome. So obviously we can't do it all. So was that like, how did you figure out like, okay, like it sounds like you invested in yourself and figured
Yes.
out a model to do that.
Yeah, so that was huge. Investing in myself was huge. Finding, or I guess the community found me, because it wasn't like I wasn't seeking to make this come to life in the way it has, but it just so happened that top of the pandemic, I started to see certain, it felt like signs of people who were looking to educate others on how to grow their businesses. Uh, I wasn't a teacher by trade, so I also felt that as a little bit of an insecurity. I'm like, well, I'm not a teacher, but I am fully trained in French, went to French school growing up, did one of my degrees in French. So you know what? I do qualify to stand in the business ownership world for sure. And yeah, just discovering and meeting other people who are also looking to do the same thing that helped fuel my passion and helped me see the possibility.
What was one of your biggest fears about leaving your job, and how did you overcome it?
So many. I have a million. I am not, and it was so funny. This morning, I actually spoke to someone who I've connected with on Facebook, and she is an education business owner, and she sent me a voice note saying that she resigned this morning. And she's like, Elise, did you have any regrets? And she lives the other side of the world, and I was just there offering her comfort. I said, listen, you took a chance on yourself. That's what I did. And there's been no regrets since then. So for me, I was nervous about the comfort, obviously. Like there was no guarantee when I made the leap. Also, let's just be honest, there was no consistent paycheck that was going to be hitting my account like I was cushioned in the corporate world. So those were two big ones. And honestly, I did have a fear because a lot of what was required was me now becoming louder about my business and becoming the face of the business. So I was nervous about that. Like, what are people going to think with seeing me all the time? And honestly, having to have a new identity that I was not showing them before.
So, it sounds like, yeah, just being like in the right environment that helped you overcome it a lot. Just showing up.
100%. 100%. And it's sometimes you don't even have the courage, but it's others who are encouraging you. And then you realize it might be your turn to encourage someone else another time. So I've seen that full circle as well.
So, how do you keep your business running smoothly? Any systems or automations? You know me, I'm an automations queen. So,
Yes.
anything that's been working for you that you want to
Yes.
share?
Automations are so crucial. So I would say I was also not an early adopter, but we've been using Go High Level for some time, probably since 2021. Not, I stumbled through it, not being the expert. I'll leave that to you. But I realized the benefit of having automations because in our world, it is a lot to do with volume. So we have a lot of parents who have similar inquiries for French tutoring for their children. So having automations that spoke to their needs immediately, having automations that even followed up, because sometimes we know people are busy. So having things in place was super key. So I will always say to anyone, real business ownership without systems is not, it ain't really happening. You got to really have systems if you're looking to be at a certain level
Right.
eventually. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. If you want to scale, if you want to have a thriving business that where the customer feels like they have that experience, a good experience right from the get go.
exactly. Exactly. And first impression with business, you can't assume they're only looking at you. So having that impression that stands out and even how we craft our messaging, those first impressions really do matter.
Exactly. So, what advice would you give someone who's stuck in their 9 to 5? What did you share with your friend here that is wanting to start getting into their online business and quit their corporate job?
Wow, that's a great question. So I would say you know what's happening on the inside. Like there's a voice, it might be a whisper, or it might be, the people around you who the messaging is coming through, but you'll know when it's time to take a leap. And I call it the leap of faith because it is unknown. And I'm not going to sit here and be dishonest and say, oh my gosh, it's this perfect, smooth journey you'll be on. No, but you will uncover that, like for me, my biggest growth has happened through taking a leap of faith and for taking a chance on myself. A 9 to 5 job, that is some people's vision for their lives. But if you're feeling inside that's not where you're supposed to be, then I would say take a chance on yourself. Like for the first time, just take a real chance on yourself.
I definitely agree because there's so many ups and downs, and I still keep going through it.
Exactly. We
Sometimes
can
I think,
totally
wow,
relate, right?
how did I get here? Awesome.
New challenge, yeah. New challenge at every stage. 100%.
Sometimes you have to burn the boats too. For me,
Yes.
sometimes I have gotten, sometimes we all contemplate, should I go back? But there's no going back at this point.
Then you get a new vision, a new idea, and you're like, okay, all right, I'm back in
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So tell us what's next for you. For someone, it sounds like you kind of already had that kind of going on the side. But what if someone's not really sure? Like, what other advice would you have for them to look into? Like, well, what do I do as an online business? I've been doing what XYZ, or I want to get out of being an accountant or something, or what would advice would you have for someone who's thinking of starting their own online business?
Yeah, great question. So I would say to step into something that you actually care about because it is going to be you at the end of the day who has to do the thing. And what I've always said is a true expert is someone who has done the thing before. So for me right now, like I do help other education business owners grow their businesses. Why? Because I have done that. So it's literally teaching them the ingredients and providing a template for how to make your education business your full time. It's doing that. So for someone who is wondering, okay, what could I be doing? Maybe document, make a list of things that you actually enjoy or that even you've been told you're good at and that you could do for a longer term. Okay, you don't want to just be the person who had the business for 1 week. What could you see yourself doing long term and then explore that? It doesn't mean that you have to stick to that one thing, but yeah, I think it does start with self reflection, looking inside. What am I good at? What can I teach others to do in a way that is meaningful? And that's where I would say I would
Yeah.
share as a starting point.
What are your friends always calling you about? If they're, what's the number one thing that they're always asking you for advice that you're freely willing to give?
That's a good
But not
question. Yes, that is something I think people, even if people always find the question, what are you good at?
right.
Kind of hard. I'm like, well, what do people tell you you're good at? Or what do people ask you about? That, yeah, that's exactly how you find that.
Exactly. If you had to give a 30-minute speech right this minute, what would it be about?
The next
What
dinner
would your
party.
TEDx talk,
That's the question.
be like? Awesome. So for you, this is awesome. You've been able to find your passion and have a thriving business in tutoring, and now you've opened up your own program as well to teach people how to do that. Can you tell us a little bit more about that business and how people can find you?
Absolutely. So definitely one of my priorities has been lately to educate and to help other education business owners really transform their business models and create businesses. Education is kind of the top priority or should be a top priority and really teach them how to transform that to create more impact. That often comes from things like systems, like increasing their visibility and getting a model that's going to not have them doing that 40-hour a week. We want them to live a life that serves them. And that comes from niching down and having a business model that serves more with less time. So that's a big part of what I do. And if you are looking for any guidance with that, I invite you guys to follow me on Facebook. So you can look for my name, Elise Beckles. And I also invite you to follow us on Instagram. So on Instagram at thefrenchtutor.ca. I I welcome DMs.
Awesome.
I welcome DMs about that. So I'll be happy to have a chat and see how I can serve you.
Awesome. Put that in the comments below.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
follow her. He's awesome. Grace, we are so excited again to have you and share your story because I want people to understand that you can do it too. If we can do it, you can do
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Find your passion. It really is true. You know, when you find something that you really love to do and that you want to talk about it all day long, why not get paid for it?
Like it sounds people will say, "Oh, it's easier said than done." It's like, get around people who've done it. That's how it will come to life for you too, because your environment, it
It's
changes your
everything.
lens. Oh man, your motivation, your sense of possibility. So I would say that would be key as well. Get around people who have done it.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I hope it inspires everyone here who is watching. Make sure to comment below, follow Elise as well over on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much. Do you have any last words? I think that was pretty good. Wrapping up here.
Yeah, honestly, I will always tell people the best investment you can make is in yourself. So if you are wondering, should I, would I, if this is for you, okay, you are the best investment. And just remember that whatever voice you're hearing, I'm investing in me. I'm investing in me.
Love it. Thank you so much. You know, with the times these days, you can do anything. You could teach almost anything.
Yeah.
So let us know what you're passionate about in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you and see what you guys are creating in the world because
Yes.
people are waiting for the impact that you're about to make. Much love and aloha, and we'll see you guys on the next video.